Hey, this is your Made Free Life podcast with your host, Shawn, where we have weekly conversations about faith, freedom, and adventure.
All right, we're back with another episode of the Made Free Life podcast with my good friend, Travis the Rabbi.
What's up, everybody?
And we decided that we wanted to start off the new year by talking about this idea of New Year's resolutions. Do they work?
Here, I can answer that. Lean in, everyone. Do they work? No, they don't. They don't work at all, statistically. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't work or it hasn't worked for an individual, but overall, New Year's resolutions don't work. You know why?
Well, I was going to ask you, why do you think, or what is your study on why they don't work?
It's real simple, because everybody knows what they want. They just don't know how to get there.
Yeah.
And
well, so there are people that know how to get there. I just think sometimes it's motivated externally.
Yeah.
Therefore, it doesn't really last.
Well, no, not at all. And so it's okay to set goals. But the reality is how do you get there? How do you forge a path? How do you create, watch this, you ready for it? How do you create a belief system that's going to carry you to a place that where you can experience the new? So whether you're starting out in the gym, well, what's the goal? Oh, I just want to look better or feel better. Well, you know, do you believe that embracing a healthy lifestyle, that's going to be the byproduct?
It's going to be it's got to be a changing in your thinking. On the way in, me and Brantley were driving, and I did a little reel, and that's what I said about New Year's resolutions. It needs to start from identity.
Yeah.
You need to see yourself as an athlete if you want to see the results. And so what do athletes do? They eat clean.
Yeah.
They get up and exercise when it doesn't feel good. Mm-hmm. They do things because they're rooted in identity. I'm an athlete, so I'm going to do what athletes do. Yeah. Same with spirituality. If I'm a man of God, I'm going to choose things that are going to align with my identity. I'm not going to do things that would be outside of what a man of God would do.
Correct.
Not perfectly, just like with the gym. But I think when our belief system is rooted in right thinking, then as a default, as a byproduct, we start to see the results that we desire.
Yeah, when I started going to the gym, I just wanted to embrace a healthy lifestyle. Mm-hmm. There's not a beginning or an end to that.
Right. It's a lifestyle. Exactly. That's good.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle.
It's not a week or 2 weeks or 3 months.
And so often people, they set these goals. They want to look better. So as soon as they do look better or they do lose the weight, I want to lose 40 pounds. Well, you get to the 40 pounds, now all of a sudden you've accomplished the goal.
Yeah.
And then you stop. It's
like eating clean too. Like if you don't have a lifestyle of making good choices, not perfection, nobody can do that today with food. But if you try to consistently make a lifestyle out of good choices, then you'll find that it's sustainable.
Right.
If not, it's not sustainable. How many times have we went into a fast or went into some crazy diet fad and we are like angry, bitter, chewing everybody's head off because we're not eating the foods that we want to eat. And so you can do it. Like right now, me and Holly are on a 15-day Arbonne detox. And she keeps saying, babe, we can do anything for 15 days. And she's right. And we're going to do it for 15 days. I'm not doing it after 15 days, by the way. It's a lot. But anyway, but there's a point to the 15 days. It's going to get us to a place. Then the goal is to make good choices with food and eat sensibly after the detox. But yeah, I don't think anybody could sustain it long periods. But I think it's conducive to what we're trying to do. And I think what I'm hearing you say, Trav, is that we want to create lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things that I try to do with the gym or with my quiet time or even eating unhealthy is I have a rule called the 2-2-2. I don't want to do two things in a row that's bad. So like I'm saying, if I miss the gym, I don't want to miss it 2 days in a row. Okay. If I eat a bad meal, I don't want to eat 2 bad meals in a row. If I don't get a good night's sleep, I want to make sure that I get a good night's sleep the next night. And it's something that I've created. I don't know where I got it from, but it does give me kind of a piece about, not being so Nazi, but also being disciplined enough that, hey, I'm not going to let this choice that I ate at the buffet turn into a week long of crappy eating.
You eat at buffet. That's the problem.
Or listen, or
We gotta talk about the whole
if I stay up late to the Buchanan's bedtime hour, which is like 11, because Holly's got me in bed at 8:30. Then
so old.
then I want to go to bed early the next night because I want to make sure I make two good choices. If I don't want to make two bad choices.
And the 222.
222.
So you can't toot your horn.
I can't toot my horn.
Yeah, you can't toot your own horns. But yeah, you know, at the end of the day, I think it really comes back down to really cultivating a heart that's going to produce the changes that you want to. And the way that we cultivate and steward our heart are through our habits.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm a pastor. I got to bring the word in.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So the psalmist said, I incline my heart. And that means incline is almost a reactive approach or a proactive approach.
Yeah.
Decline, it's easy to fall
Don't
off.
we know it?
And so, like, you know, we want this mentality approach to life. You remember the old 90s infomercials?
Oh, yeah.
The
best ones ever.
Yeah.
Dude.
Set it
go.
and forget it.
Set it and
right?
forget
Set
it.
it
Yeah,
and
yeah.
forget it. And that's the way that we kind of approach, you know, our heart.
Yeah.
Well, if our heart and our belief system, our habits are going to produce in our life, well, you're going to have to be intentional about your heart, man. You can't set it and forget it. You've got to be
Let
intentional.
me jump
about
in on that, man, because, you know, that's my word.
Yeah.
Intentional. And I think, and there's not a better description of what you just said. It has to be intentional. One of the things I learned from reading the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, is to cue up habits, good or bad.
Yeah.
Cues create cravings.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I've staged things like I stage my Bible by the bed, my book that I'm reading. I was thinking this week about, you know, foods that I don't want to eat out of sight. We're putting foods like fruit in plain view sight, so it causes me to grab that apple, cues my crave to grab that. And so I've been doing things like that, putting my running shoe or my walking shoes. My little front, I don't run. Walking shoes by the bed, so that in the morning I get to put them on. I've been trying to walk 2 miles in the morning, because if I don't walk in the morning, I find that I won't walk in the afternoon because I'm tired.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to do these things that create habits that are conducive with the desired results I want. But I have to create an environment. And that's the thing with a lot of people with New Year's resolutions. They have a lot of great zeal. They're fired up. They watch their favorite, you know, social media guy, V-Shred, and they're like, yeah, I'm doing what that guy's doing. And then all of a sudden, where are we at in January 10th? Most you know, statistics by January 14th, they've already fallen off. And so I think that when we create environments, because we all know this, that environment bursts desires. And so we create an environment that's conducive with what we are trying to accomplish. And so it's adequate enough to help us get to the goal. But I love what you said, Trav, in the beginning, is it's all about lifestyle, man. It's not a short-term game. This thing ain't a short-term game. It's a long game.
No.
And so if we're in it for the long game, we got to have a mindset of, will this sustain us? Will this sustain me?
Yeah, I look at like true strength. And what impresses me is not how much you can lift, but how long you can lift it.
True.
I see them old timers in the gym.
Yeah.
I've been in there longer than, you know, I've been alive. They're like, man, you know, that's a long time.
They got that old man strength.
Right. You know, and so at the end of the day, the longevity and having I don't know who I'm talking to right now, but having a strategy. You know, if you look in the Bible, and every like supernatural, miraculous thing that God did in the Bible, there was a strategy that preceded it. Whether, you know, you've got tens of thousands of people that are hungry. Okay, here's God giving the strategy. Hey, sit down in groups of 50. If you see, you know, the Red Sea crossing, he gave Moses a strategy. Lift up your rod. You know, there is a strategy that precedes the supernatural. And I think we overlook the significance of having a strategy to experience growth, to experience change, to experience the things that we desire for the new year. And so what is your strategy? You know what I mean? Your strategy is, well, I'm going to put my walking shoes, I'm going to put my Bible, I'm going to put, healthy things in sight. I've already come up with a strategy.
Right.
And as I use wisdom and God's grace to produce in my life, it will yield, it will yield change. You can't help but to change.
That's true.
And so,
but you're right, man. And going back to, there's a biblical precedent in the Bible, in Habakkuk 2:2, I believe, it says that we write the vision down, we make it clear that those that may read it may run with it. And so first we need to write it down. But I see a lot of people, they're great with their vision boards and they're great with writing things down. I've been at seasons in my life where I've been good at writing everything down, but I had no strategy.
Right.
And what I'm hearing is, if we don't have a strategy, that's how we put that vision into play. That's how we put that thing into motion, is that we have a strategy, because you can go buy a gym membership and that's a great step. But if you ain't got a strategy on how you're going to put that into your day and factor that into your time, it's just, you just own a gym membership. You ain't seeing the results in the gym because you don't have a strategy to get there. How are you going to do it? Are you going to do it after lunch? Are you going to do it before lunch? Are you going to do it in the morning before your day gets started? Whatever that looks like for you. Yeah, whatever is going to motivate you and it's going to work and align with your life and your personality and how you think and process is what's going to be best, because we're all in different journeys into the path of, your fitness, mine, your spiritual, walk and mine. What works for you? I've been listening to a lot of the Bible lately, but also since you gave me that John Maxwell Bible, man, I've been like, I'll listen to a bunch, that leadership Bible, but I'll take small moments and just really outline little portions of leadership. That's what's been working for me. For years, I read the Bible through the year. I read 4 or 5 chapters systematically. I did that for over a decade. It served me well, but I'm in a different season, man.
Well, I think that goes back to Habakkuk. Let me reel this in and kind of backstep. Habakkuk 1 is beautiful. It says that he said, I will stand and watch to see what he will say, he being God. I will set myself upon the rampart. And I will bring it to him when I am corrected. So here it is. What are you watching? Like, if somebody out there is like, whatever goal you have set, there's somebody that's further along than you.
For sure.
And so being able to watch and see, like, if you want to improve your marriage, you need to find somebody who has a healthy marriage. Look into that thing. See how they do it, whether it's fitness. Look into that thing. See how they do it, whether it's nutrition. Look into that thing and see how they will do it. But do not make the mistake of just thinking you can take what they're doing and leave the Lord out of it.
Right.
Because he designed you on purpose with a purpose. Like, your design reveals your destiny.
Yeah.
And so Habakkuk says, I brought it to him to correct it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I've made this mistake. We've made it. Okay, I'm going to do exactly what they're doing, and then I'm going to get mad when it doesn't produce the results. But it's saying, hey, so here it is. Write the vision in pencil before you put it on tablet.
That's good, man. When I pastored both churches, I used to tell all my staff, no matter what ministry head they were, lead, find 3 churches that are doing what you love, that are inspiring you, things that you would like to see done, whether it was Grace City or Revive. And then bring it to me. Because the greats study greats. Great people study great people. But you do absolutely, number 1, need to bring the Lord into that situation. Number 2, also make it fit you. Take nobody's reinventing the wheel. You know what I mean? But you can take the wheel and you can put your own spin on it, and you can make it fit your season, your whatever project you're doing. And so I think I have the spiritual gift of copy and paste. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to invite Jesus in that moment and make sure that, number 1, it fits being authentic, who I am. But there's a process of gleaming and leaning into, but also making sure that thing is raw and real for you, and that you've invited God into that. And I think that's where it comes alive, because Jesus would let you know.
Hey, this ain't going to work for you.
Because we've all seen people do and copy and things, and it's like, oh, that's a train wreck. It's like this. I'm a Leonard Skinner fanatic, you know what I mean? And there ain't too many people that when they try to cover Leonard Skinner songs that I'm excited about. Shawn did a good job.
Yeah.
But there's like, when they start covering like classics, I'm like, what are they doing over there? Because some things ain't meant, you know what I'm saying? So, but I do believe you're right, man. I think that when we, number one, we watch, I love what you said about marriage. Get around some folks that's got some healthy marriages. If you want a healthy marriage, hang out. It's like the whole thing. You want to be a millionaire? Hang out with millionaires. You know.
You become what you behold.
It's true.
You know,
what you
that's what John. Behold the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world. If you're struggling with sin in an area, why don't you behold the Word? Begin to focus your attention on that.
Obsess over Jesus. You'll find yourself doing those things less, man. It's not about rule keeping. It's about obsessing, beholding, looking at. You know, when we get
attentive to all these things.
Yeah. And we're going back to that being intentional, man. Because the reality is everything is trying to rob and steal in our time. Yeah. And I find that if I don't write that stuff down, and even when I get a good idea in the middle, like I'll have the tendency of not wanting to grab my phone and put it in my notes. But I've learned sometimes that thing don't circle back. So if I feel like it's a God thing or an impression that I get from the Lord, I'll grab that phone, even if I'm half asleep, you know, about to doze off, and I'll type it in because I'll revisit that again. And it's something that, you know, I don't want to forget.
Well, back to the psalmist, and maybe we can end with this.
That'd be great.
Is that he said, I hate the double-mindedness, but I love your law. And when it comes to change, I've found that sometimes you got to hate a thing before you love a thing.
Good.
In other words, you got to hate being unhealthy before you love being healthy. And there's so many people that you try to love the thing without actually hating. What do I mean by that? Well, this is what I mean. Like you hate you hate the product of what it's producing, but you don't hate the pattern of it. There's this love-hate tension that's created.
With addiction.
I
they don't like the consequences of addiction, but until they start hating what is robbing and stealing from their lives, they will give space to it. They will allow.
And there is a biblical hate. I know that we you know, in the body, we don't use the word hate.
But God,
and it's not in the context of what you're thinking, but there is a biblical, godly disdainment,
absolutely,
hate that, you know, at the end of the day, I believe that it starts with that. Like before I ever loved the man that God turned me into, I hated the man that I was.
That's good, man.
I did.
That's good.
I hated the alcohol. I hated the father I was. I hated the husband. I hated the friend that I was. I hated the life. And when I say I hated it, I hated it. I'd rather just die. You know, remember when I told you when we went down that water, if I don't come up different, just hold me down. Just keep holding me down. I hated it. Yeah. And so before I ever experienced loving the man that God has molded, shaped, and fashioned me in today, I hated the man that I was.
Yeah.
And so whatever desire that you're looking to as far as fulfill or the change or the new year, let me ask you this question. What do you hate?
Yeah.
Like not just the consequences,
right,
but the actual behavior.
Yeah.
Because the psalmist said, I hate the double-mindedness.
Yeah. And we do need to get to a place that we hate what God hates. And God hates anything, to be clear, I don't know who's watching, God hates anything that is robbing and stealing you from the one life that he has created for you to live on purpose and for a purpose. And if you are allowing anything, whether it's toxic relationships, whether it's addictions, whether it's anything that's robbing and stealing from that one life, that's what you need to begin to hate, my friend, and watch how that thing will turn around for you in 2024.
That's a good place to end, my friend.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being on again.
All right. I love it.
You guys have a great week.
Hey, this year's going to be amazing. Just keep believing, and I know God will do great things in your life.
Say that, man.